Hi, this is James Gordon Montgomery here for Book Hall. This week I went to the Valley Village in Welland just to get out of the house for a bit, as I just felt like I had to get out for a bit. Um, and when I was looking around, I saw this book series I've never seen pop up a couple of times, and I read what it was about. It sounded interesting, so I decided to get this book series. However, they only had the second and third novel. They did not have the first one. I searched everywhere for it. They didn't have it, so then I drove to the Valley Village in Niagara Falls to see if they had it. Sadly, they didn't have the book I was looking for, but I did find some other booksellers there. Then I checked chapters to see if they had the first book in the series, and they didn't. So I'm gonna have to keep my eyes open for this first book in the series. But I got a couple goodies. I'll start with the book series I got in Welland. Newsflash: Deadline by Mira Grant. This is from Orbit, and this was published in June. This is published in June 2011. This is a horror, post-apocalyptic sci-fi novel about after a zombie outbreak. The parts of the U.S. are under quarantine because of infected, and there's a news crew that basically uncovers a conspiracy going on with the government, and they're trying to expose the people of the truth, what is really happening, and the government is using zombies as a weapon to try to silence the media from exposing the truth. And this just sounded really like an interesting book. I thought, okay, this sounds different, and there's a lot more happens in this series, so I decided to check this out. And this is the third book, Blackout. Published by Orbit. And this was published in June 2012. So this continues after the events of the third book. So I will definitely do this series on the channel, and I really like the cover designs of the books. Like they're really like simple yet really good eye-catching covers. So hopefully I'll find the first one, which is called Feed. This sounds like an interesting series, and the author has another book that I remember seeing pop up chapters a lot. That sounds interesting. I'll check that book out as well. Alright, on to the books I got at Valley Village in Niagara Falls. Trans-Siberia Express by Warder Aiden. It's a really nice cover. This is from Pocket Books, and this was published in July 1978. This sounds like a Cold War thriller that takes place on the Siberian Express, this well-known train, and I thought this sounded really interesting, and also kind of reminded me a bit of the graphic novel I read recently. What was it? What was it called? Oh yeah, The Hunting Party. The Hunting Party. So it kind of reminds me of that. So I picked that up. And this other book, which also made me think of The Hunting Party, Children of the Abarat by Anatoly Rybakov. And it's got to fold out inside. There we go. Okay. What's this? Dell. Okay. This was published by Dell in May 1989. This is about the Russian Revolution back in the 1920s, and it follows these characters as Stalin comes to power and the things that happen. And when I was reading this, it made me think of that graphic novel, The Hunting Party, so I figured I'll check this out. Plus, it's nice to read different books as well, so I'm curious what the book's going to be like. Alright, on to the other books I got. The Demolishers by Donald Hammond. This is from Fawcett Gold Medal, and this was published in November 1987. This is a revenge thriller about a father who loses his son to terrorists and decides to take matters into his own hands. And this sounds really interesting, so I look forward to checking this book out. Okay, next. Flood Tide by Clive Cussler. This is from Pocket Books, and this was published in October 1998. This was a book that I needed to get after after one copy I got at a book riot was kind of like a defect, a printed version where it wasn't printed properly, so it was kind of slanted, and if you try to read the pages weren't line up, so I ended up having to discard that book. And when I was at the Value Village in Welland, they had a ton of Clive Cussler books, and I was trying to keep my eyes open for this book, and they didn't have it, but I luckily found it at the Value Village here in Niagara Falls, so I'm glad to have this copy as it's in much better shape, and I look forward to doing the Drake Pitts series on the channel someday in the future. Okay, next. Whirlpool by Colin Forbes. This is from Pan Books, and this was published in 1991. This is a Cold War thriller about some group is taking over different parts of the Europe, and it's up to some guy to stop them. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Robert Ludlum's The Equity Propagation. Hopefully this will be a lot better than that book was. Okay, next. A Game for Heroes by Jack Higgins. Oh, tons of a bookmarker. Another one to my collection. This is from Berkeley Books. It was originally published by Doubleday in 1970. This edition is from January 2002. So this is a World War II thriller novel about a bunch of high-ranking SS members go to this like luxury resort that maybe look like this, and are trying to basically hide from the Allied forces who are after them. And a high-ranking commando team is sent to terminate these SS members on this like island that they're at. I thought this sounded interesting. And the last book I got, Maxwell's Train by Christopher Hyde. This is from Villard Books, and this was published in 1984. This is basically about a guy that works for Amtrak, and he's reached his breaking point. He's dislikes his boss. He's tired of being treated like shit, and he wants like a better life for himself. And I believe the character also, I was reading a bit of it, the character went through a messy divorce. So when he finds out that that a large shipment of money is going to be shipped on the train company he works at, he decides to steal it, and he gets his group of friends to help him out, and they fake his deaths that way. They'll be able to disappear and take the money. However, on the day they go to do the robbery, a terrorist group boards the train to try to take the money as well. So it's kind of like the Taking Pal 1, 2, 3, but with the intensity increase even further, where you got like a terrorist group that doesn't care who gets in their way, and basically it's the two sides trying to get the money and stuff. So I've decided to check this book out. I read Christopher's other book years ago, Jericho Falls, which was a really good book. I'll have to review that one on the channel someday. Alright, that's it for the book haul today. Hope you enjoyed it, and this probably will be the last one I do for a while, as I really don't have the space for any more books. So this would be probably the last book haul I do for a couple months or so, as I'm trying to really clear out space on my shelves. Alright, that's for the video today. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel where I post book reviews, book hauls, and artificial content. Until then, I'll catch you later.